Alrighty. So now that we got that information out of the way, let's go out and break down the Monday Night Football game from last night, folks. Sheesh, what a very entertaining game. Once again, all these primetime, nationally televised games are absolutely great games. Suspenseful, entertaining, really all coming down to the wire, and this one was no different. So the Ravens get the win 31-25, but the Ravens struggled offensively all game long, and that's what the Ravens are. We say it all the time. They are just Lamar Jackson. That's how great Lamar Jackson is. He single-handedly carries the offense himself. And, when he struggles when he struggles, the offense struggles. And when he's on, man, oh man, buckle up because they could be one of the most dangerous offenses that there is, because there is just so much to guard. Obviously, you have to guard Lamar Jackson, who is a pure, like that. The definition of dual threat quarterback, it's Lamar Jackson. In the dictionary, it just shows Lamar Jackson's face. It's not Michael Vick anymore. He is not kind of the prototypical dual threat quarterback anymore. It is now Lamar Jackson, who can run for 100 yards a game, throw for 300, throw for 100, maybe even run for 300. I wouldn't put it past him. And that's kind of what we saw last night, the Lamar Jackson show, and it was absolutely fantastic. So, struggled in the first half, 3-and-out first drive, 3-and-out second drive, 5 plays, 26 yards, half the punt on their third drive, fourth drive, 6 plays, 32 yards, still kind of stalling and stuttering, and then they finally kind of get into the red zone, and it stalls a little bit, and they have to settle for a field goal. Luckily, this Ravens defense wasn't giving up any points either. They gave up only 10 points for the first half, but it's not like Carson Wentz was slinging around the ball. They got lucky and hit a home run 75-yard screenplay. That's not on Carson Wentz. So when we look at Carson Wentz's stats here, we are going to have to kind of take away 75 yards because that's just one chunk play that he had. So let's we can start here with Carson Wentz. Damn, he threw for 402 yards. Carson Wentz threw for 402 yards. Really? Damn. I did not think he threw for that many. Damn. We watch the games live here, and then we don't really look at the stats until, like, the next day. And, sheesh, 400 yards by Carson Wentz. I'll give him credit for that, but unfortunately couldn't make the right plays at the right time and, still get beat, when they were up. I mean, the largest lead that they had was, 25-9, and they still let him come back. So, truly unfortunate there with Carson Wentz. But let's get his completion percentage up and all that, and start talking about some of these numbers here that we saw last night. So Carson Wentz goes 23 of 35, which is 65% completion percentage. That's real good. 402 yards, that's absolutely great. 2 touchdowns, real good. No interceptions, but he did have a fumble, though, and it was not really that crucial. But they fumble on their next drive after that touchdown drive, and luckily for Carson Wentz, it does not result into any points here by the Ravens. They go 5-and-out, unfortunately, after that fumble. So really kind of a clean game here by this Colts team. Just unfortunately a little bit too conservative down the stretch right here. And we see it right here on this blocked field goal drive. So the Ravens just made it an 8-point game, being down 25-17. And then on the Colts following drive, they get down in great field position. And they just start running the ball ultra conservative. As soon as they kind of hit the 27-yard line of the Ravens, they go ultra conservative. 1st and 10 at the 27, 7-yard run. 2nd and 3 at the Baltimore 30, 2-yard run. 3rd and 1 at the 18, 1-yard run to pick up the first down. And after they picked up that first down, they're like, well, let's keep running. It worked again. It worked last time. It worked the last series, or just worked the last 3 plays. Let's do it again for 3 more plays to pick up the first down. Let's eat up some of this clock, and let's get out of here with the win. So a little too conservative here, not truly trusting Carson Wentz. And we know Frank Reich and Carson Wentz do have history together, I believe, in Philadelphia. And now he's not trusting him to close out this game. Ultra conservative. It's unfortunate play calling right here. But here we go. After they pick up the first down, there's 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter, still up 8. They're at the Ravens 17-yard line. They run the ball. They get a -1 yard run. So now it's 2nd and 11 at the Ravens 18-yard line. They do a 3-yard run. And then on 3rd and 8, and this is the most appalling one, on 3rd and 8 at the 15-yard line, they run the ball on 3rd and 8. 3rd and 8 to run off a couple more seconds? Come on, you got to be a little bit more aggressive. Trust Carson Wentz. We've seen him, turn the ball over in the red zone. We've seen him fumble and all that. So maybe that got in Frank Wright's, mind to really kind of make this decision. Hey, we should run for it on 3rd and 8, and it ends up being a negative 4-yard run, and it sets up really a chip shot field goal, 37 yards, but it gets blocked. Great job by that Ravens defense to step up absolutely hugely to give Lamar Jackson one final chance, and he absolutely took it, because we know he goes down and scores a touchdown and the 2-point conversion once again to Mark Andrews. Give credit to Tight End University, folks. Mark Andrews scored the last 2 touchdowns and had the first 2-point conversion. I believe he goes to Marquise Brown. Does he go for? No, he goes to Mark Andrews again. He goes to Marquise Brown in overtime for the game-winning touchdown. But man, oh man, Mark Andrews, folks. Sheesh, tight ends getting it done out there. And y'all know they taught that at Tight End University, the class of being clutch, of being great. They show that all the time there. That's the class that's freaking held up by Travis Kelce and George Kittle. They know about being clutch. They know about getting to the Super Bowl, winning, and putting up big performances there. So they taught that to everybody at Tight End University, and Mark Andrews aced that class, you could say. So very well done to the Ravens. And then they get the ball in overtime, and Lamar Jackson, we have seen him make a lot of mistakes here. We saw it against the Chiefs. He throws, I believe, a pick 6 on kind of their first drive, and then like another interception, and kind of getting stalled out in the first half. But then they come back in the second half and win the game against the Chiefs. And this game kind of went exactly like that. Struggling. We talked about all the punts in the first half, and then he fumbles on the goal line. Real bad play by Lamar Jackson, truly. Should have just handed it off. It was kind of a RPO. Or just a read option, and he ends up keeping it and tries to get into the end zone himself, and he fumbles on the 1-yard line. And that's kind of a little concern that we do have with Lamar Jackson. That's the only knock that we have on Lamar Jackson, is that sometimes he can be a little turnover prone. We saw it last year in the playoffs against the Bills in the red zone. Throws a pick 6. It's from like the 5-yard line, and he throws a pick 6, and that really kind of ices the game. I don't think any more points were scored by the Ravens after they, stalled in that red zone drive for the interception. And then we see him here trying to come back in the third quarter. The first drive out of halftime here for the Ravens. He goes down, and it's a great drive. It's a 13-play, 79-yard, 7-minute drive. It's a fantastic drive, but he unfortunately results into him fumbling. So we do need Lamar Jackson in the most, and that's why it's so kind of bonkers and bizarre to talk about, because it's not like he's not clutch. We know he's clutch. We just saw it last night. So it's not that we can call him clutch or not clutch. It's just he definitely needs to kind of shore up the ball security in some high pressure filled situations right here. So that's the only knock that we have on Lamar Jackson. Clean up the turnovers, please, because they are going to get you in trouble. Yeah, they didn't get you in trouble against the Chiefs game. Yes, they didn't get you in trouble against this Colts game, but they did get you in trouble last season in the playoffs against the Bills. And I don't want that to happen again this season with Lamar Jackson, where they get into the playoffs and they're looking good, but then it's Lamar Jackson turning over the ball at the worst time. And then in the playoffs, it's so hard to come back because the intensity and the level of competition and the level of just great overall play is so high in the playoffs that one mistake can truly cost you. In the regular season, you can get away with it. We've seen it. So just keep that in mind, Lamar Jackson. And it's unfortunate because it has to always be on Lamar Jackson because he's the offense. Run, pass, delivering the ball, deep, short, all of that. Kind of manipulating the defense. I mean, using his eyes, utilizing his legs to kind of look off the safety or make the corners press up or make the linebackers kind of take him and leave the tight end wide open in the middle of the field. I mean, we've seen this all the time. It's truly Lamar Jackson. This is the only offense in the NFL that is 100% dictated by the quarterback. Not even the other dual threat quarterbacks have kind of what this Ravens offense is. Baker Mayfield has 2 great running backs and they utilize everybody. Baker Mayfield's a game manager. He's a little bit of a dual threat, kind of on the end spectrum of dual threat. Ryan Tannehill, same thing, but they got Derrick Henry, and he's just a game manager. But when we're talking about real dual threat quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes, obviously this is not his game. Patrick Mahomes barely runs, even though he is kind of a good running quarterback. Kyler Murray doesn't run. It doesn't kind of just immediately take off. Kyler Murray doesn't really have any direct snap plays to him. And Deshaun Watson, yeah, he's very mobile, but he's a great passer, and he usually passes a lot more, runs more than Patrick Mahomes does, but not as much as Lamar Jackson does. So nobody runs and passes as much as Lamar Jackson does in tandem. So he is truly the definition, like we said, of dual threat quarterback out here. All right, so Lamar Jackson struggles here, fumbles there, but once that fumble happens, he puts his team on the back. They go down, score a touchdown in the third quarter, and then, like we said, down 16, they score 2 touchdowns to get right back on track, tie up the game, and then Lamar Jackson doesn't make the same mistake twice and gets it done in overtime. And goes to Marquise Brown in the end zone. Love seeing him hooking up with Marquise Brown, giving him some recognition out here. It's absolutely fantastic. So let's talk about Lamar Jackson because, folks, I mean, this stat line is absolutely wild, and really we just have to watch it. We just have to watch it, and let's do that. Let's put on these Lamar Jackson highlights, and we'll just let them run while we're breaking down the stats because, I mean, honestly, this is you just have to watch. If you didn't watch it last night, it's unfortunate because this was fantastic. But let's just watch this 5-minute highlight clip play. Lamar Jackson's best plays from his freaking absolutely star-studded, stat-filled night here. So he goes 37 of 43 passing. Let's get that up here. Look at all this buying time, and look at him right there. And then, I mean, folks, I mean, this is what Lamar Jackson does. This is why it's so hard to guard, because you have to guard Lamar Jackson. Then you have to guard the running backs and all the wide receivers. But then you have to guard Lamar Jackson running the ball and then escaping in the pocket and buying all the time. And then once he truly takes off, you still have to worry about him because he's going to put this move on you. It's going to look like he's going to just go out of bounds because that's what he probably should do here, not to take the big hit. But he's so agile. He is so athletic that quick cuts, he can just turn on a dime. And just look at this play right here. He's looking to go out of bounds, but then last second, he's like, you know what? I'm going to cut inside, makes that defender miss, and then picks up the first down when it really looked like he was going to run out of bounds like 3 yards short of the first down. And can we just watch Lamar Jackson dance around in the pocket? I mean, just look at this. It's kind of looking a little slow here. He's taking his time. He's literally toying with the defense. It's not like Lamar Jackson is 100% sprinting. It's like what running backs do, where they kind of just dance in the kind of backfield waiting for that hole to open up. They're not just instantly taking the ball and running 100 miles an hour forward. They're kind of, all right, buying a little time, waiting for something to open, something to develop, and then hitting the hole, going 100 miles an hour. That's what Lamar Jackson does as a dual threat quarterback. I mean, his IQ is just so great, and he's just toying with all of these defenders. Every single move in the pocket by Lamar Jackson is, I can tell you, is 100% calculated. Just look at him step up in the pocket, and then he doesn't kind of instantly roll out to the right here. He just kind of turns his shoulders a little bit, and that's all he has to do to make defenders miss is turn his shoulders a little bit, folks. You can't bring this man down. And after he turns his shoulders a little bit, and then he finally escapes out of the pocket, and he's still keeping his eyes down the field, and then he decides to run with it, and now he's like, you know what? Yeah, I can go out of bounds, but I'm going to make this man look silly, and I'm going to just kind of whoop. I'm going to whoop on him, and then he gets the first down. I mean, that's what Lamar Jackson is, folks. Holy moly. And there's no other dual threat quarterback like Lamar Jackson. He is it. Kyler Murray, Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, they cannot do the running aspect like Lamar Jackson can do. Now, those other quarterbacks maybe have a little bit of a better arm, but I'm not like the difference. The gap is not that big. We're not talking about drastic differences. I mean, we saw him, hit a big bomb here to Marquise Brown that will probably be in the highlight tape here. 43 yards to Marquise Brown wide open, so he can air it out. We've seen that. It's just, his arm isn't, the thing that defines him like all the other quarterbacks are. So it's just absolutely fantastic. But let's keep these highlights running here. Jeez Louise. So Lamar Jackson, 37 of 43. What do we get here? 37 of 43, 86% completion percentage. Absolutely fantastic. I don't know where everybody's getting these numbers from. A lot of people are saying 90% completion percentage where he only had like 2 missed throws. But the stats here say 43 attempts. So I don't know if they were breaking it down like specialty yards or something like that. Let me see what the Score Mobile says here on our phone. Yes, still 37 of 43. So a lot of people were saying 90% completion percentage. 86% completion percentage is still so stupid. And can we talk about this throw right here? Once again, Mark Andrews, Tight End University, shout out that, and we're going to break him down more in depth here when we get to our Tight End Tuesday segment. But just look at this throw right here. This is a beautiful throw right here. The fake here, and once again, this is why you have to guard everything, folks. This is why you have to guard everything. Let's get this play up here. Had to rewind a second. Lamar Jackson taking off here on the previous play. But now we're going to get this play. Watch this play. The fake to the wide receiver screen. The fake back to kind of just passing downfield. And then he goes to Mark Andrews here on the right sideline. Look at how beautifully this ball is thrown, folks. Right over the corner, right under the safety in that soft spot, and it picks up the first down, and it gets him in the red zone, and you're utilizing your great tight end down there who will always get open. I mean, just watch and marvel in Lamar Jackson, folks. So great completion percentage, 86% completion percentage, 442 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, no picks. He did have the fumble, like we said, so still 1 turnover on the goal line. Definitely, like we said, need to clean that up. That's the only knock that we have on Lamar Jackson. Look at him escape the pocket here. I mean, that's a surefire sack. Nobody's going to be able to catch up with him. He picks up the 3rd down on 3rd and 3, and he wants some more right there. Once again, you can't bring this man down. You think you have this man brought down, but that's what Lamar Jackson kind of plays into. He slows down. He's not 100%, going 100 miles an hour on every single play, so he can quick cut and stay on his feet and recover from hits and pushes and all that because he takes his time and he's so precise, and his vision is absolutely excellent, folks. And then he picks up a couple more yards right there after the scramble and escape. You gotta love it. Now we get in the red zone right here, stepping up in the pocket, delivering a ball. Boom. Who we got there going down to the 1-yard line? I don't think that's Sammy Watkins, number 13. Whoever it is, down at the 1-yard line, that's where he fumbles, unfortunately. But then he's back here, once again, going to Mark Andrews. Absolutely fantastic. Let's talk about his rushing yards. 14 carries for 62 yards. The man has over 500 yards by himself in the game. And then we get the deep ball by Marquise Brown. Absolutely 100% on the money. Let's count the yards here because that's what everybody kind of says. Lamar Jackson doesn't have a big arm. He's not a quarterback. He's a running back at the quarterback position. Well, let's see how deep this ball was. So he's going to launch this one from his 50-yard line from midfield and get it all the way down to basically the goal line. Call it 43, 44 yards, but it's 100% or 50 47, 48 yards there. It's 50 yards there. Clean, precise, accurate, 100% on the money, folks. Look at where this ball lands. It's not like Marquise Brown has to slow down, which would be an underthrown ball. It's not like Marquise Brown has to speed up because it's an overthrown ball and he has to run underneath it and dive at the last second to just get his fingertips on it. No. This is 100% accurate as heck, folks. Accurate as heck. You can't get any more accurate than that. 100% accurate ball on a 50-yard bomb by Lamar Jackson. Give the man some credit, folks. And stop with the disrespect. He's just a running back. So Lamar Jackson, leading rusher here, 14 carries for 62 yards. Latavius Murray, only 6 and can we talk about, oh my goodness, I love tight ends, folks. Y'all know we do. Can we talk about this grab right here? And this was on the drive to win the game right here. Once again, Lamar Jackson putting this ball absolutely on the money right here. Look at how tight this throw has to be, folks. 2 defenders on each, or a defender on each side of Mark Andrews. But then you got these other defenders back here. You got kind of a 4-box of defenders here guarding Mark Andrews. So if it's underthrown, you're screwed. If it's a little bit thrown to the left, you're screwed. If it's a little bit thrown to the right, you're screwed. It's 100% on the money, and Mark Andrews makes an absolutely beautiful catch right there because that's what Mark Andrews does. That's what tight ends do out here. They always get it done. So once again, the accuracy on these longer balls, his deep ball accuracy is real solid, folks. Real great, I'll even say. Man. Dump it down to Mark Andrews. Look at Mark Andrews making a miss. Ooh, 10 yards and more. Ooh, Ooh, shifty, folks. And you know why he's shifty? Because he's the leading receiver here for this Ravens team, folks. Absolutely fantastic. Mark Andrews, leading receiver, 11 receptions for 147 yards, 2 touchdowns, and we're going to get one right here over the middle of the field, working back, finding that open space. Lamar Jackson standing confident in the pocket, and he's just delivering it to his tight end, and we're going to get one here. Mark Andrews, boom, for the 2-point conversion, folks. Clutch. Tight ends are clutch out here. So y'all get the gist of what Lamar Jackson is, folks, as a quarterback. He is truly the whole offense here. It's absolutely great. Marquise Brown, second leading receiver here for the Ravens, 9 receptions for 125 yards and 2 touchdowns himself. Devin Duvernay, 4 receptions, 45 yards. Sammy Watkins, 2 receptions, 35 yards. The man is not even utilizing Sammy Watkins, which I'm a little not keen on. I want to see Lamar Jackson air it out more. I want this to be in the play calling, having Sammy Watkins take some deep shots. 2 receptions for only 35 yards. Devontae Freeman, 3 receptions for 34 yards. James Proche, 2 receptions, 15 yards. Tyson Williams, 2 receptions, 15 yards. Latavius Murray, 2 receptions, 13 yards. Josh Oliver, 2 receptions, 13 yards. Spreading the ball all over the field. Wide receivers, tight ends, running backs. He's delivering the ball exactly to where he needs to be, because that's the offense here of the Ravens. There is so much to guard that there will always be one thing left open, whether it is a wide receiver, a tight end, or a running back, or if everything's covered, then that means Lamar Jackson is open and free to roam, and then he utilizes it. We see it time and time again. So Lamar Jackson just toys with these offenses, and he toyed with them on those last 2 drives to score those 2-point conversions and the touchdowns to tie the game going overtime. And just look at these last drives, folks. These last 3 drives, Ravens, 6 plays, 78 yards, 2 minutes, 11 plays, 75 yards, 3 minutes, 50 seconds, overtime, 10 plays, 68 yards, 4.5 minutes. So just utilizing the clock, eating up the clock, not eating up the clock, scoring quick, scoring fast, scoring slow, a little bit slower out there, going the entire length of the field, starting at their own 22, starting at their own 25, starting at their own 32, scoring touchdowns on them. Give this team some credit. Alrighty. What else do we got here? That's the Ravens, folks. The Ravens offense is absolutely fantastic. The defense was getting after Carson Wentz a little bit out there. They had 2 sacks overall. Some big hits in this game here with these sacks. Not a lot of sacks. Ravens had 2 sacks. Colts had 2 sacks as well. But they were big monster hits right there. And well done for both of these quarterbacks of getting up and still balling out after those big hits that they took. All right, now let's finish up on this Colts team quickly. Carson Wentz goes 25 of 35 for 402 yards. Like we said, 65% completion percentage, 2 touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor, 15 carries for 53 yards, 1 touchdown. Marlon Mack, once again, they're utilizing Marlon Mack. We talked about it 2 weeks ago. They were trying to trade Marlon Mack, but it seems like they kind of, mended their relationship. Marlon Mack kind of wanted to be out because they weren't utilizing him. Well, they got him 5 carries for 47 yards. Naheem Hines getting into the mix as well, 4 carries for 18 yards. So utilizing all their running backs. Jonathan Taylor was the leading receiver because of the kind of setup screenplay on the first touchdown that came on. I think it was 3rd down. Yeah, 3rd and 15, and they allowed the setup screen. So unfortunate there by the Ravens defense, little flat out of the gate, unfortunately. But they cleaned it up for the rest of the game. So still a shout out to this Ravens defense. So Jonathan Taylor, leading receiver here for the Colts, 3 receptions for 116 yards and a touchdown. And then Michael Pittman, man, holy moly, this touchdown catch by him. Can we bring this up somehow? I gotta watch this replay, folks. It's the best. This is exactly what we wanted to see from Michael Pittman. They have to have an auto highlight up here because, here it is. Here it is. Oh my goodness, this is so great, folks. Michael Pittman, this is what we've been talking about, folks. We've been talking about Michael Pittman this entire season, folks. We, especially with T.Y. Hilton not being in here for the Colts because, he's banged up. He should be back anytime soon, hopefully sooner rather than later, because they need him. They're 1-4. But this is what we've been expecting from Michael Pittman from the get-go, and unfortunately this team isn't great overall. They're losing close games. They're not winning the close games, and they're just not getting out to these big hot starts, and that's a little bit on Michael Pittman too. But this is what we wanted to see. This is kind of what we know Michael Pittman can do. Here we go. They're up 10-3 here, first drive after halftime here for the Colts. Carson Wentz launching this one from his own 50-yard line. Michael Pittman Jr. double covered, ball underthrown here as Carson Wentz was taking a shot, but it's Michael Pittman going over the body of the defender, catching the ball, staying on his feet, and then getting the last 10, 15 yards here to go in for the score. Look at that. Look at that. Stays on his feet. Can't get brought down. This great catch right here coming over the defender. It's absolutely great. Look how underthrown this ball is. He has to literally, he's getting kind of pushed. He's getting a little pass interfered with. He has to come back toward the ball. And look at that great catch. Great focus. Right hands on the ball. Boom. Big, tall weapon out there. I think, what do we say, 6'3"? 6'4", maybe even potentially, but that's what Michael Pittman Jr. needs to do every single game, every single play, and it's a little bit unfortunate that it's taken a little bit of a while, taken in 5 weeks for him to truly, take this opportunity to be the A1 tier 1 wide receiver option on this team, because when T.Y. Hilton comes back, he's going to take over the role of, the A1 tier 1 receiver here for the Colts. So I'm glad that Michael Pittman finally got going here on that catch. Absolutely fantastic. Just another unfortunate heartbreak for this Colts team. Paris Campbell, 4 receptions, 56 yards. Mo Alley Cox, the tight end, 3 receptions, 50 yards. Zach Poshkuhl, 3 receptions, 48 yards. Kylan Granson, 2 receptions, 19 yards. Ashton Doolin, 2 receptions, 13 yards. So after we just read all those names, obviously we need T.Y. Hilton back in this lineup here. But it's just unfortunate, this Colts team not winning the close games and doing worse than what they did last year with Phillip Rivers. And we were not expecting that with Carson Wentz here. So they're just not making the right plays here. And we even get that here by Frank Reich. He regrets the conservative third down call in the collapse of the Ravens, saying, quote, "I wish I had that one back." And that's exactly what we were saying there on this block field goal drive of just being super ultra conservative. Why not trust Carson Wentz? Because he was playing really solid here. He was making some good plays here overall. He had 400 yards passing, so you got to give the man some type of credit here. Underthrown ball, set up screen, going for basically 125 yards. But, other than that, he was still getting it done and working the ball down the field, especially in the second half. But then they just got conservative and the field goals were getting blocked and missed. I mean, this really should have been a win for the Colts. It's truly unfortunate. 47-yard field goal is a chip shot. We know that, all the field goals were getting missed this week. I don't know what it was, something in the air with the kickers. But, Ravens end up winning. They take their advantage. They win the overtime coin toss. They receive the ball, and that's all she wrote here. So Ravens and Lamar Jackson here getting it done. Unfortunately, don't break the rushing record of 45 straight games of having 100 yards plus rushing, but I don't think they care because, they won the game and Lamar Jackson got it done. Only 86 rushing yards, 14 yards shy of that record. Truly unfortunate, but they tie the record. So they still got the record. They just didn't break it. They got to share the record. So Ravens get the win 31-25, folks. Very well done. And then this is what Lamar Jackson has done, folks. First quarterback in NFL history to complete 85% of passes in a 400-yard game. First quarterback in NFL history to do that. No Patrick Mahomes, no Tom Brady, no Dan Marino, no Aaron Rodgers, no Joe Montana. It's Lamar Jackson, baby. Give the man some credit. Highest completion percentage in a 40-pass game in NFL history. Once again, not Tom Brady, not Aaron Rodgers, not Patrick Mahomes, not Joe Montana, not Dan Marino. It's this man right here. Big trust out here. Big trust. Get that. Yeah, sorry. Get that up there. This is the new canvas coming up. Just a zoom in of Lamar Jackson with the towel. Yes, sir. Let me save this picture. Get that on the canvas behind us at some point. Franchise record, 442 passing yards. Joe Flacco didn't do that. I don't even know the other Ravens quarterbacks. They're irrelevant. It's Lamar Jackson, folks. Overcame largest deficit of his NFL career, 19 points. Lamar Jackson shattering records last night and doing it in fashion and getting the win while doing so. Give the man some respect. Alrighty, so that was Monday Night Football from last night. Now